Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Bahamas Power and Light executives signed a memorandum of understanding with Shell North America.
The governing party prepares for their conclave this weekend.
A 39-year-old woman hit with more than 30 fraud-related charges. That story is coming up.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Bahamas Power and Light officials signing a memorandum of understanding with Shell Gas and Power Development BV for a new liquefied natural gas plant at Clifton Pier. The signing comes 6 months after Cabinet selected Shell as the preferred bidder to help solve BPL's power generation woes. Jasmine Brown has the story.
Executives say today's signing is BPL's first step in becoming more modern. Shell is seeking to meet New Providence's long-term energy needs by constructing a liquefied natural gas-driven power plant at Clifton by 2022. Cabinet selected Shell North America as the preferred bidder on the BPL generation supply contract back in April 2018. Their selection came following a bid process that sought proposals to replace temporary power at the corporation's Blue Hills plant. Today, BPL CEO Whitney Hasty says BPL could not have chosen a better partner as he stressed the transformational impact it has even beyond the energy sector.
We could have not selected a better electricity generation partner, one who is a world leader in the supply of LNG. Shell is a company of technical expertise and has demonstrated their ability to deliver.
The signing of the MOU for the 200 to 250 megawatt power plant comes months behind schedule. The MOU was initially slated to be signed on August 3rd. At the end of August, Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister said while the signing was behind schedule, it remained a top priority for the country's power provider. During the signing today, BPL Board Chairman Donovan Moxey said the project promises not only to bring more stable power generation, it will also have a lower impact on the environment as well as reduce the cost of fuel.
One of the things that we have to recognize is that the power generation assets that BPL has, a lot of them have been around for 30, 40 years, and quite a number of them are end of life. And some of the issues we've experienced with blackouts has been due to the fact that we have old generation equipment. In addition to that, there's also some T&D issues within our network or transmission and distribution that we're looking to fix. When you talk about engaging an independent power producer and doing a PPA, it is their job to keep generation running to the agreed level that we have essentially worked with them to establish. And so when you look at that, that's their focus. And so from our expectation, if they live up to that, then we should have very little to no power generation issues.
The Shell plant calls for the development of marine infrastructure to receive LNG, a gas pipeline to bring LNG onshore, an LNG reclassification terminal, and a new gas-fired power plant. When asked the cost of the development, Moxey said he could not put a price tag on the project.
Well, the beauty of this is what we're doing is we're actually forming what's called a PPA relationship with Shell. Given that, what you do is you enter into a relationship with an IPP or an independent power producer. So Shell will become an independent power producer. And so given that, they will be responsible for the capital cost that goes into building the plant. And so when you look at what utilities are doing today in getting out of the generation business, is that you're reducing your capital costs and expenditures by bringing on IPPs. And so that's the nature of the relationship. So when you look at the construction costs, the costs associated with building this plant, BPL would bear none of those costs.
So what would we be paying for?
What we'll be paying for is the electricity supply that they provide to us.
Meantime, Shell Country Chairman Mark Regis says following today's signing, the next step is to finalize negotiations.
We are excited to pursue this project with BPL and pleased to have taken this first step in signing the MOU. We still have several milestones to meet, but we are optimistic about the future and our ability to move this project forward.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Well, BPL customers who have seen their monthly bills triple in recent weeks are not likely to see their bills decrease anytime soon. BPL Board Chairman Donovan Moxey telling the media today that the spike is the direct result of those fires that put several generators at the Clifton Pier power plant out of commission for nearly 2 months.
One of the things we're doing, and what I want to indicate and say is that the spikes in the cost of electricity is due to a number of factors. First of all, we lost some critical assets at Clifton Pier, about 60 megawatts, 60 to 70 megawatts that was used to generate electricity for the New Providence, given the fire that we had. And so those particular generation assets were running on heavy fuel oil, or bunker C HFO, which is the least expensive of the fuels that we use for generate electricity. We had to shift that load to Blue Hills. Blue Hills runs mostly on ADO, or automotive diesel oil, which is much more expensive than the HFO. So when we lost those assets at Clifton and we had to shift our load to Blue Hills, we ended up utilizing the more expensive fuel.
In early September, 2 fires broke out just 48 hours apart. The blazes crippled 2 generators at BPL's Clifton Pier power plant and led to weeks of load shedding. Moxey confirmed today that those generators are still offline and officials are working to increase power production at the Clifton Pier power plant. But he says he doesn't expect light bills to go down until power generation is increased by next summer.
Our fuel mixture is 70% ADO, 30% HFO. So that's what caused that inherent spike in the cost of electricity. What I can tell you is we are working on getting other assets at Clifton back online. And so what our hope is that the assessment is still being done on the fire, on the damage that was caused by the fire at DA12 and DA11. We're also looking at bringing on additional assets in time of summer of next year. So our hope is to shift most of our base load back to Clifton Pier and utilize the least expensive HFO fuel.
Well, FNM Chairman Carl Culmer is slamming claims that those 4 FNM parliamentarians who voted against the government's resolution to lease the town center mall have been asked to shape up or ship out. He says those statements are not true and added the party still supports them. Jillian Gray has that.
As the FNM heads into their conclave this weekend, their chairman, Carl Culmer, is speaking out on the actions of those 4 parliamentarians who the country has come to know as the 4 rebel MPs.
You're part of an organization, and where I would not like to see where, them this being what you call voicing their displeasure in the House Assembly. I think we have caucus every week before Parliament and sometimes prior to Parliament. And if there's something that they have against their object to, I think the right place to do it is in the caucus.
Golden Isles MP Vaughn Miller, Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson, Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine, and Centerville MP Reese Chipman all voted against their party on both the increase to value-added tax and the resolution seeking parliamentary approval to enter a 5-year lease with Town Centre Mall, which is owned by a sitting cabinet minister. Last Friday, the Tribune reported that those 4 MPs were given the ultimatum to toe the party line or leave. Culmer said that statement is false and insists that though those MPs have been somewhat defiant, their party still supports them.
Those MPs will have to sit down among themselves and to themselves and evaluate where they are. And I think as long as they're FNMs, this party will support them. The chairman will go out and ensure that they will be protected and ensure that they will get what they require for their constituency. We will work with them to make sure they are re-elected when the time has come.
In recent months, 2 of the FNM members left the party. Former BPL chair and FNM Finance Committee member Darnell Osborne left the party after a heated media brawl with Works Minister Desmond Bannister. Osborne was a member of the party since 2002. Former candidate for the FNM in the Bain and Grantstown constituency, Leonard Sands, left the party after he said those in political leadership forced him out as the Bahamian Contractors Association president. He was a part of the party since 1992. When active support was eroding from within, Culmer said no and described the party as a united force.
And the FNM persons are allowed to speak their mind, okay? But the thing is where you do it. Okay, we don't try to stifle opposing voices. So the thing is, we're united, and the party will continue to work together as a united force to move this country to another level.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Well, come next week, the University of the Bahamas will be celebrating homecoming. One of the events to be featured, a basketball game between UB's men's basketball team and the U.S. Virgin Islands. And in tonight's edition of Fit Friday, they let me hit the court with them for a bit of training. Take a look. Meet Ramon Dames. He's a point guard for the UB Mingos men's basketball team. And next Friday, the team will take on the U.S. Virgin Islands for UB's homecoming.
They bragging about y'all. Y'all A1? Yeah, we A1. I feel so. We clicking now. As we practice gets going on and on. And we just came from abroad playing, and we lost, but it still was a good experience.
So to warm them up a bit, I was asked to get on the court with a few of them. A game of 2-on-2. UB alum Rembert Mortimer and myself against the Mingos.
All right, let's show them what we could do.
I mean, I ain't on your team.
You know my team?
No, I'm an alumni.
All right, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Okay.
So I don't care how much basketball they play. We graduated. We are determined. We finished. So because we can finish something, we gonna cut.
Don't brag too much yet, because I can't play basketball.
But listen, let us pray.
And then there was our ref.
Gonna have a clean game today. How y'all doing? I need no problems from you, no problem from your side. Who's the captain of each team? Me tonight, right? All right. Now we're gonna have a fair game. No crying. I will not see everything.
So these old timers, how the new school does it.
Hey! That's good. Yeah. Oh! Hey!
And that was just the start of the game.
Yeah.
That's your shot. That's your shot.
I can't move no more.
I got it. You want to get it yet? Huh?
It's kind of hard to watch.
I'm open. Step Curry in the court. What are you doing? That was good. You gotta wear him up.
And then this happened.
Oh, no!
Bring that back.
Oh, no!
You didn't catch the last move, right?
You saw when he got his ball too.
Yeah, I got that. I didn't see where the ball went. Oh, we can need that. We can need that.
As if they weren't killing us already, they made a sub. And then the sub fouled me.
Ready for that? He ain't gonna let him score. Get him. Foul. Thank you.
Foul on 2, 4, block.
But I came back.
There you go. Go to white card.
Him. Damn it. Now halftime score is 4-5. They're cheating. Obviously the ref he knows what he's doing today. He's making the right calls. Ref's making the right calls, and also Kyle's injured. So we called alumni reinforcements, and it's gonna be a different game next half.
Let's go.
Eventually, we lost.
It feels good to beat y'all, first of all, fair and square. And then, it was easy, but they put up a good fight.
Well, Kyle Walken was our all-star player today. He had about 26 points, 18 assists, 12 rebounds until
alumni game 4 o'clock.
Until the young man here fatally ended the game for him.
Oh, this is a nice interview. Thanks. Also, during the homecoming week, another game where UB alum face off against their fellow alumni. Well, that was interesting. Still to come, a woman charged with 30 counts in the magistrate's court. Plus, find out why these men were taken before a magistrate as well. Stay tuned.